All right, hello everyone. We're back with Cash to Capital. It's 2026. I got a mic now, so we're official, and that's that. What you got to say?
Yo, don't forget the sound effects. Hit them.
But yeah,
We in the building, baby. We got mics. We got applause. Wait till we get all the sound effects. We're going to be up.
it's gonna be over.
Yeah. So the new year started. The market's been off to a roar. We got Trump taking over Venezuela. Trump taking President Maduro out of Venezuela, and probably going to take control of the oil. A lot of people don't also realize that Venezuela was one of the first countries that actually had a big Bitcoin reserve. A lot of people not talking about that. So it's going to be very interesting. President Trump has also talked about Greenland too in Europe. So stuff is getting crazy out here, but the market doesn't seem to care. Market's still going up, um, and we we still are going to, I believe, have some interest rate cuts, although a lot of analysts are saying we shouldn't. We have gold and silver going crazy, still going high. Those metals, when they start to roll, they roll forever. So, lot of stuff going on. Semiconductors going crazy. Data storage companies, data storage like Micron and ScanDisk, and what am I not? Couple other Western Digital went crazy. So a lot of things going on in the market, guys, and we're going to be here to give you all this news.
100%. And then on to the topic today's video: IPOs of 2026. So the IPO pipeline for this year is looking very diverse, and that's
Max,
potential.
what's an IPO?
So an IPO is an initial public offering when a private company files to become public, and retail investors can take part in value creation of the company. So essentially, retail investors, anybody could buy or sell shares of a company.
Very true. It was a huge IPO year last year with Circle, with what's another couple company that went public last year?
CoreWeave,
CoreWeave.
Figma,
Say again?
Figma.
Right. So those companies came public, and they took you on a wild ride, baby. So we're gonna talk about some IPOs that we believe are gonna drop this year. I believe, I'm sure my son does too, that this is gonna be a mega year for IPOs. We got some monster companies coming public this year. Monster. You hear me? So we'll talk about a few. Maybe Maddox will take a couple, then I'll take a couple.
For sure. And, even if you're not investing specifically in these companies, it's still important to know because these companies are going to become a part of indices that you're invested in and also potentially your 401k. So it's always good to know these companies. All right, cool. So I'm going to start off with a company called Anduril, which is a defense company. It's the largest private defense company right now. And I'll put a picture up of it in a second. But pretty much it's founded by the founder.
Oculus.
Yeah. So it's founded by the founder of Oculus, and pretty much it's the most high tech defense company out there, and able to manufacture a lot of these defense technology at a lower price. Some of the other competitors that are out there. So pretty much the founder, Palmer Luckey, but the founder, is somebody people believe in, and the company has expressed in the past that going public is something they want to do since taxpayers are the one funding these projects, so they want people to be able to take part in some of the value creation that's going on. Now, I know that, so I definitely see this being a high probability of going public in 2026.
Cool.
I'm putting up a picture of him.
Is this a CEO? Who you putting a picture of?
Yeah, right here.
This guy's got like a Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah, so he's like one of these founders, but people believe in him. He wants to go public. And
How do you spell? His name is Palmer Luckey.
Yeah.
How do you spell the company again? Anduril.
Anduril. So I could I'm just gonna put this up, during the video. But
Anduril. Okay.
yeah, this is company right here.
Defense technology. Okay. That looks cool. Listen, it's not what you look like, baby. It's how you execute. So there's a lot of people talking about this company. Pay attention. If you like this IPO thing, please be very careful. As I'm going to allude to and illustrate that IPOs are very risky, guys. Very risky. And you want to make sure that you are checking the fundamentals of a company. and making sure that if, a lot of these companies have been private for a while, so a lot of them are making money, some of them are not. But as Jim Cramer says, there's a lot of irrational exuberance sometimes. And that means that when you just get too excited about people get too excited about a stock and they don't know enough about a stock, they drive the price up and then the stock just comes crashing down because there's nothing to support it up there at those levels. No revenue, nothing. So you got to be careful with these IPOs. And a lot of them are going to be attractive when they come back to earth and they start to I think Palantir was one of those companies that, when it first started, very speculative. But once they started to make money, they just took off like a rocket ship. So now, what other company you got, son?
Yeah, so another company I'm talking about is Stripe. So Stripe is a fintech company. It's a payment processor for small to large businesses, and it's the largest private fintech company. So this is a company that's been speculated to go public for a while now. They expressed interest back in 2022 to go public, along with some other companies. So I think 2025 could be another good year. I think my dad talked about Circle, a bunch of other fintechs. Um,
You mean 2026?
yeah, yeah, my dad said Circle IPO this year, but a couple other fintech companies went public this year. And I think Stripe could be another one. I think it's kind of a race with some of these private companies that I think once one of these big ones go public, maybe the next ones won't be able to raise as much capital as the previous ones. So definitely another one to be looking out for in 2026. But if not,
So
2027.
Stripe's valuation right now is in February 2025 is 91.5 billion. And they're saying it's fluctuated. So it hit a peak of 95 billion in 2021, dropping to 50 billion in 2023, and then rebounding to 91.5 billion in February 2025. Though a secondary share tender offer with discussions pointing to a potential rise to 106 billion or more late 2025. So that's a pretty big valuation. Um, Company that's kind of been on the map and is growing. So keep an eye on it, guys. These valuations are, these companies do, a bunch of rounds of funding from the big private equity firms. So they need to get a lot of cash, and that's where some of the irrational exuberance comes from, because they just get all this money that comes in, and that means that the average investor looks at private equity and be like, man, all these private equity people are not just going to put money in there to lose. So if they keep funding these rounds of funding that these companies need, there's got to be something there, which is a segue to my next IPO that I've been looking into, and that is no other than SpaceX. SpaceX, if they come public this year, guys, we're talking about a valuation close to $1 trillion. I will say that again, $1 trillion. I think they're looked at right now around 800 billion. But, you know, I mean, this money that these people, that especially Elon Musk, who's already been proven, with Tesla and, all the other things that he's done, SpaceX evaluation at 800 billion, man, just be careful, guys. I mean, everybody's excited about SpaceX, and that thing, when that thing comes public for the first time, I won't even imagine what the price of that's going to be. So just be careful.
Sure. I think SpaceX, and I think the space industry in general is the next, big up and coming industry. I think Elon has invested in it. Obviously, Jeff Bezos has some investment in it. But I think SpaceX has the potential to be the biggest IPO ever, and it would be great.
I also want to talk about Circle that came out last year. Circle is a company, a stablecoin company that came public last year, and they came public on June 5th, 2025. And by June 5th, 2025, the price uh, was, I believe it was 60. If I'm looking at the chart here, the low end of the wick is 64. That was June 5th. Guys, by June 23rd, the stock had rallied all the way to $298 from 64. Now, imagine you went in and bought the top around 298. All right. Today, that stock is trading at $80. Okay. So you have to be very careful. June 5th, $64 IPO'd, up to $298 by June 23rd of 2025. Now we're sitting here in January of 2026. The stock went all the way back to 80. Okay. And even dropped to its lowest point, which was almost back at where it IPO'd on November 20th. It dropped down to $64.92. Okay. This is one of the reasons why I really don't like IPOs, because that irrational exuberance, people drive the price up, and the company doesn't have any revenue and is new, is really trying to find themselves a way, and that stock price comes down. It just starts, they say in Wall Street that stocks take the elevator up and then they take the stairs down. So you can see that happen with Circle when they IPO'd. They took the elevator from 64 all the way to 298. Whoop! In just less than a month. But now we're sitting here June 23rd to January, where are we at? January 7th, and we're back to $80. That means that stock has just been slowly coming down, taking the stairs. So, anybody who bought at the top, I know you're just kicking yourself right now, or you're just waiting for the company to, really build. And I think Circle has a really good format and platform and really good leadership. I think they will, but you don't know when it's going to happen. So you got to be very careful with these IPOs, guys.
Yeah, 100%. I think tapping a circle, but I think, companies shooting up and coming back down has been a story for a lot of the IPOs of 2025. So definitely be careful, trading around IPOs when they first come out.
You're up, son.
All right. So the last one I'll be talking about today is Anthropic. So Anthropic is a large language model, similar to ChatGPT. It's mainly known for coding. So it's the best AI model for coding, and a lot of engineers use it to help them with their coding. So there's another one highly anticipated for 2026, if not 2027. There was a report that they just hired a law firm for lawyers to help them with the IPO. And there's also been some reports that have been talking to some bankers. So since those reports came out, very highly anticipated. This is another company that come out with, I think right now, around a $350 billion valuation.
300 what?
50 billion.
Okay.
Yeah, $350 billion valuation. And, and it's kind of a race, like I said before. If Anthropic IPO'd before, some other companies like OpenAI or XAI or something like that, they could be the first to raise, that 50, 60 billion, and maybe the ones that IPO following won't be able to raise that much. Or maybe that's speculation, but
Yeah, any others? Oh, there was one that Jim Cramer was talking about that I haven't heard of, but people seem to really gravitate toward. It's called Databricks.
mhm.
Before I get to Databricks, what's something interesting about Anthropic? Anthropic is one of those big language what do they call it? LLMs, language learning models. And the name of it is Claude. So you know how like Google Gemini, ChatGPT, like the name of Anthropic is Claude, like ask Claude who's Claude. So I thought that was pretty interesting. I was reading up about that. But Databricks, if you just look at what their valuation is, what is the valuation of? Says here, following a significant funding round announced on December 2025, where they raised over $4 billion, marking a 34% increase. Looks like the valuation is at $134 billion. Guys, $134 billion for Databricks. SpaceX, $800 billion. How much is Stripe? 91?
95.
95. You just talked about Anthropic. What is 350? Guys, we're talking about serious money here at IPOs. These are companies that are highly touted. These are not clandestine companies. These are not secret companies coming out of the woodwork. These are companies that are highly infamous, or they are going to make a lot of noise this year. And President Trump, with rolling back a lot of his regulations, there's going to be a lot of money flowing into the market. So you want to be ready.
Yeah, 100%. What else you got?
So just a stock pick of the day, doing some technical analysis, came up with Novo Nordisk, ticker symbol NVO. This stock is looking like it's ready to do a bearish to bullish reversal. It's been getting hammered. Uh, let's see. So back on, let's see what this date is. Back in, looks like November, or even in 2024, the stock was up to a high of $148. The stock has come down all the way to, it bottomed at, on November 25th, it got down to $43 from 140. So I'm looking at the stock. It has a bunch of gaps in the chart, and you know what happens with gaps, guys. What do we know with gaps? 90% of gaps get filled. Looks like it's starting to move up. It's made a nice little move here all the way up to today. Today it closed at $56. So it's up from 40, 42, or what I say 40 before, up to $56. We have a gap that goes up to $68. Okay. So my price target in the next 3 months for this stock is to go from 56 and close this gap at 68.47. Okay. That gap will be filled. And then we got another couple of price hikes, and we have another gap that needs to get filled at, looks like, $102. So a bunch of gaps to the upside that need to get filled. So I'm liking Novo Nordisk, ticker symbol NVO. For it's going to be like a slow ride up. This is not one of these companies. This is big pharma, so the companies don't really make big moves. But I think it has bottomed, and it's starting to make that bearish to bullish reversal.
Yeah, Novo Nordisk is a great company, but are you gonna talk about OpenAI?
Oh, my bad. OpenAI, yes. How could I forget? I thought we were done with IPOs. But OpenAI, as you guys know, Sam Altman, ChatGPT, Sam Altman being the CEO founder, we did a video a couple weeks ago about him going public. So it's going to be a huge year for OpenAI. We've also talked about how they've been losing market share to Google Gemini. But one thing about these hyperscaler companies and these CEOs, they call them the Indigo kids. These CEOs of these hyperscalers. But one thing about them is that they are super. Um, um, they really, when their backs against the wall, that's when they do their best work. Okay, so they're super competitive. And I really look for ChatGPT to really start innovating and really coming back and challenging Google Gemini. So the valuation now of ChatGPT, or OpenAI, I'm sorry. Let's see. Oh man, OpenAI's valuation recently hit 500 billion in late 2025 through a secondary sale, reporting being discussed for a potential 750 billion valuation and further funding talks. Guys, OpenAI 750 billion, SpaceX 800 billion, Anthropic 350 billion. This is over $1 trillion, and I mean, this money is just crazy in this market. You guys got to get in the market. You got to get your kids in this market. Go start an Acorn account today. You know, put $1 a day in your account for your child. Something that you can afford, $1 to $5 in your account. I mean, this money is just outrageous. So we're looking for a mega year, mega deals in IPOs this year. OpenAI, uh, Anthropic, SpaceX, Stripe. Who did I forget? Databricks.
Yeah.
What you got, son?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's it. I think OpenAI, is a highly anticipated IPO. They actually started off as a nonprofit. So earlier this year, they restructured the company to be able to become, a public company. So that definitely raised some eyes. And we reacted to the video earlier with Sam Altman saying he doesn't want to go public. So we'll see what happens. I think 2026, 2027 are going to be big years for IPOs. So definitely keep your eyes on.
So I think you got to be careful. Some of the risks for investors for IPO: high volatility, potential for overvaluation. That's that youthful exuberance, that irrational exuberance we talked about. There's limited historical data on the stock. No guarantee of share allotment due to high demand. And they're also, for people who want to get in early, there's lockup periods. Like, your money gets locked up for a long period of time. I mean, if you got a lot of money, you fine, that's fine. But some people not cool with that. They need their bread, Fred. You know what I'm saying? So, but I think with these big companies, you don't have to worry about that too much. And a lot of us little small people weren't able to get in early. So we want to look and have you guys prepare for the potential risk once that those companies go public.
Yeah, 100%. But I think that's it for this video. Unless you got anything else.
No, man, I'm just hype about the market. I could go on forever, baby. You know what I'm saying? I'm hype about the market. I got so many. I got man, SMH. The semiconductors are like the new oil. They're going crazy. Taiwan Semi, Micron, Western Digital. They're going crazy, y'all. Yo, get SMH was the ETF with a full bag of them. And just keep dollar cost averaging into SMH. Because microchips are the new gold, guys. Semiconductors all the way.
100%. Definitely exciting times in the market. So we'll definitely have more videos coming soon, and that's it. So we'll see you guys next time.
Give him applause, son. Get us out of here. Let's go.